guys, I wish you guys know what happening behind it. How you doing, ladies? How you doing?
Honestly, I actually wish everybody can catch my vibes, because this is how I feel today.
Oh my God.
And it's so not, but today's Thursday actually.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be our free for all shows. I wish everybody could just see into Kike's mind. Kike, tell us what you've been up to. I command you.
Dami, how you doing?
well, I'm doing very well today, but not particularly so well because I think something hit me yesterday, and the mayhem that happened in Ibadan actually took the life of a friend. So it's been, I've teared up, I cried. It's bad, it's terrible, but we still have to keep moving. I mean, we still have to keep moving.
I'm so sorry about that.
Sad.
Sorry for your loss.
Now I have to behave and comport myself.
Oh my God. Do. All right, we're yet to hear Nigerians' voice in history. Let's catch it out with On This Day in History. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
On this day in history, exactly 8 years ago, 17th of June 2013, 48 persons were killed in 3 separate coordinated bomb attacks on churches in Kaduna, Zaria, and retaliatory attacks. According to reports, the first attack was at a children's Sunday school at Ekwa Church, Wusasa, Zaria, which left the Sunday school teacher and 10 children dead. 4 children playing outside the church were among the first victims of the blast at the church. A witness said that 5 men ran up to the church and hauled homemade bombs through its open door. They were allegedly chased down and reportedly beaten to death. Police could not confirm this.
Wow, on this day in history, you know, it's unfortunate, you know, that we keep talking about death, we keep talking about different sectors of our state with quite a number of challenges that we are facing in terms of insecurity. Zaria was one place that I lived briefly growing up because of my mom's sister, you know, and it's unfortunate when I look at states that, you know, that is a little bit related to history for me. You know, it just, what's your take on this day in history, Damdola?
Well, we keep rigmaroling because I think these days now is better with bomb blast, but we have graduated into kidnapping. Then we didn't have too much of the kidnappings and all of that. It was very little, but it was more of bomb blast. Even during the last administration, it was more of bomb blast. My cousin was affected by one December 10 just bomb blast too, and which happened at a viewing center. Now we're having more of killings. It's like power is changing hand and everything is just going in circles. We are not seeming to still nip it in the bud. We are not more. These people, they say, oh, no government, oh, God, no man. These people are not from heaven. And we know how many angels are in heaven. Gabriel, Michael, Uriel, we know them. And these ones that are on earth, let us at least try. It's sickening. Because we are mothers, we are beginning to have children. Is this the generation we want to? What do we want to tell them? If we can relate to 6 years back, 7 years back, bomb blast this, bomb blast that. I went to College of Aviation in Zaria, NCAT, and I lived in Jaji Barracks. I know how peaceful Zaria is. I know how peaceful the people of Zaria are. But for us to now have people infiltrate the peace and cause chaos and cause mayhem, the Lord will be with us, but we need to act. We really need to act.
All right.
It's unfortunate the fact that you're still talking about nipping a dragon in the bud. It has already escalated beyond the nip. We now have to really address something gigantic that is in a dragon form, because insecurity has graduated over the years. The years that we could talk about these things and talk about bomb blasts, look at that particular one. The families that were affected at those times, imagine what today would be like for them.
48 people.
Yes, imagine what today would be like for them. So it's not just a day in history. We can recount the evil that happened, but they will be reliving the horror of that particular day. So we need to do better as a country.
All right, on that note, it's time for us to take a quick message from our sponsors. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. No doubt many number of the Nigerian sectors and businesses were badly affected by the pandemic. Shortly after the country's recovery from, will I say, the debris of the pandemic, the nation slumped into more economic challenges, which included inflation, businesses, bankruptcy, organization folding up, and some running into financial crisis. As the country manages to navigate its way to stability, amidst this problem, violence, insurgencies, adoption, and banditry became the order of the day. On this day, on Thursday, or will I say, I take that back. On Tuesday, we had Lanre Olushola, the catalyst, talking about the mental challenges, which is widespread occurrences. Now, we are looking at how the crisis in the country has enveloped the wellness and the hospitality sector, as well as the tourism industry. Our guest today is Iyadunni Gbadebo, the MD of Tirta Ayu Spa. I hope I pronounced that well. Let's take a quick look at her profile. We'll be right back. Great to have you on the show today. I know you're one of the, what I call it, the secret behind the success in sales performance of a hotel and suites. And let me also say that when it comes to complementing the giants in the spa and wellness industry of Nigeria, of course, you're doing wonderfully well in that industry. Many thanks for creating time to be on the show today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
You guys look amazing.
So do you.
All right, let Lolo open the show.
All right, thank you very much. It's such an honor to have you on the show.
Thank
with
you,
us.
Lolo.
And still,
Thank you.
You know, all of the beauty, the Nubianness, you know, the creaminess of the chocolate of the skin. Yes, that's on because we're women. And one of the things that I've seen that a lot of women focus on is not just on the wellness of our skin. It's just like a new awareness as, like, let's say it's become like a revolution amongst women, men, everybody across the world to take more time for our general body wellness. Would you say Nigeria that we are towing the line as we should, or we're just, you know, starting to get there?
I believe we are. I'm not sure that it's because we know better for it. I think it's more, we live in such a difficult time that if people don't start to take care of themselves and their bodies and how they look and their skin, they'll be doing a big disservice to themselves. I always say to people that it's not luxury anymore to go to spas or to go to the gym or to have a fitness, you know, regimen. It's a necessity. Too many toxins everywhere, your body's just taking it all in. Too many things that are frustrating your physical self and your mental health. You know, it's a hard life. It's not business as usual. So you have to give that time to yourself and your body.
A lot of people just hear you say, okay, when we talk about spa, basically, you see, you need to give time to it. In the Nigeria that we all live in, imagine the amount of traffic that we all have to go through every day. Do you think any average Nigerian will still have time to want to lie down and be massaged and be comforted and be exfoliated? Do you think we'll consider that priority?
Well, I'm not sure what, it's a difficult question to answer if you ask me if we consider a priority. I consider a priority. I'm sure that you will consider a priority if you have the luxury of time. But I think the point now is more than time, is your body actually needs it. If you don't give it, you're going to give something else in return. You're going to have a weak skin, you know, you won't be well nourished, you're not giving anything back to your body. So, you know, time will tell on your skin and on your body. And, you know, you don't want to give that time too late. So you better start giving it now.
But if we're talking about timing and your body needs it, how affordable is it?
I think it depends on what you're talking about. I mean, if you're talking about just regular massages and people just scrubbing your body, exfoliating and all these things, it ranges depending on where you go. If the question is about my spa and how and if it's affordable or not, I think the answer to that would be I'm not sure that it's more affordable than you can afford to give back to your skin.
Wow,
that's
diplomatic
answer. So as a notable player and an influence in the wellness and hospitality sector. So my question to you now is that what was the situation of the sector in terms of sales and revenue after the pandemic till the recent insecurity crisis that we have presently in our country?
To be honest, I think that a lot of case studies have, proven the fact that the hospitality and the wellness, hospitality, and aviation industries have suffered the most. The hospitality in Nigeria is unfortunately still at its very, very virgin state.
Okay.
Not because we don't have the creative capacity to, up that, to speed things up, but the environment hasn't really enabled us survive as a sector. And I'm sure if we started talking about that, we would never leave this conversation.
Yeah.
But just to say, have we been hit badly? Yes, desperately so. We're just beginning to see some light at the end of the tunnel, but I think the only people who would see that light are people who have accepted within themselves to say that it is a new normal. We're going to have to live with what it is now and find more creative ways to survive even as we are.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, and I must say that you have told us exactly how it has affected the businesses, especially when it comes to you service providers. So my question now is about how about the service users, which includes tourism or tourists from other countries, and even people who are keen about going to spa to enhance their wellness. Do you think, what do you have to say to that?
I think that if we're talking wellness specifically now, I think that we haven't really had, because COVID has forced a lot of people to be home for such a long time, people are actually tired and they want to get out and they want to do stuff. And which is why, I don't know if you ever noticed, but every time there was a lockdown, as soon as they called off the lockdown, bars were full, clubs were full, spas and salons were full. So you have deprived people of their life, So in that regard, I think that there's still a market for it because people still need to look after themselves. People still need to look good. They say that Nigerians relish in all anguish, and we relish in all our suffering. We look even more stunning when we're suffering. Because we carry our problems very gracefully. And if that is true by any means, then people are still there and people still want a massage and they want a facial and they want a spa.
Looking at the massage and facials and body regime, it's become a trend now that if you're not peeling up your skin, like I can see you and Lolo share the same tones, the same skin tones. She almost knows she's of the fair mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of all?
Who's the fairest of them all? Absolutely.
But how do you enlighten? How do you help young women to understand and accept their skin tone? Because I know that a lot of them will come to you and like, oh, I want to touch it up. I want this fairer look. Or is there no spa regime that I can go through that will make me pop? That's the language.
You know what? I absolutely love the question that you're asking. And the reason I love it is because I'm in a weird state of mind. I feel like a lot of women and a lot of younger people have got it really, really warped in their heads about the kind of people to emulate, kind of people to look up to, the kind of things to aspire to be. And skin and confidence in yourself is one of those things that is very dear to my heart. Unfortunately and fortunately, our spa is a franchise spa out of Bali in Indonesia. We're a traditional herbal spa, and that means that we pretty much only use natural products in treatment. I don't have the magic to make somebody who's dark light skin or somebody who's light skin dark, because I'm also a firm believer in the fact that you have to be comfortable in your own skin regardless of what it is. No shade at all to beautiful light skinned ladies like Kike, but I think we black girls, we love our skin.
Oh God, black don't
I'm not sure.
Do we want to have a segregation here?
No,
it's two against two.
Like I said, it's not intended.
Okay.
But also, just if we must say, I think that for the people who want their skins to be any other color than what it naturally is, you have to consider all of the things that can go wrong after you get involved in this lifestyle. For most people, it's because somebody else thinks that you would be more valuable when you're light-skinned or prettier when you're light-skinned. But just do a bit of a research. For instance, all the men who chase women who have changed their skin color, do they go back to what they used to, chase before them? Yeah. So what difference does it make?
Nothing.
It makes no difference.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to ask, like, because when you talked about herbal, what you guys really do, you use organic products.
Yeah.
That really gladdened my heart. I'm just asking that in Africa, we have a lot of things that we consider our own beauty regimen.
Yes.
But what we found out that in before now, all our products are brought to us back.
Yes.
Like the shea butter, the camwood, the coconut oil and everything. Would you say that, does your spa, do you have local products that you source from for that to, help businesses around your locality to grow? Do you have need to source from products around Nigeria?
I love the question you asked because, again, it brings to mind that phase people suffer for lack of knowledge. Again, my spa is a franchise spa out of Bali. So because it's a franchise, you pretty much have to work with everything that the franchise uses. Indonesia is one of the countries in the world that have the largest number of natural growing herbs and plants. And the country is very rich for it because as you know, the Asians are very into wellness, body, skin, all of these type of, therapies. And so when we started, operating the spa in Nigeria, we had to import all of the, the products from Indonesia. But because we're a herbal spa, the products come to us in its raw form. Okay. And it's only then that we realize that most of the things that I have at my backyard, like ginger, like turmeric, like garlic, like orange, like banana peel, like rice flour, and all these things, these are the things that they grind, and these are the things that I use in treatment. So 5 years after, I'm wiser for it. So
all right, there you go. Many thanks for that submission, and I think that I'm curious now, and the question on my mind is that we know quite all right that wellness and hospitality is what the rich people afford in Nigeria. I think Lolo, someone asked the question, and I don't think you really did justice to the response that you gave, is that how do you want to convince the average Nigerian who is among the 86 million poverty line to afford your service? Because I understand that your service is only for the rich. I stand to be corrected. So I'm asking now, after post-pandemic or after pandemic, did you review your services or your service charge?
Okay, I'll tell you why I paused for a bit, because I think that it's important to correct the notion about affordability with regards to wellness. Okay. That you can be well and you can treat your body right without having to spend that much money. Okay. So if you eat right, if you sleep well, if you, do all of these things that you don't have to pay money for, to a large extent, you can still be well and live well. My services are affordable to the people who can afford it.
Your target audience? To my
target audience, correct. Okay. But there are similar services that have different brackets of people who can afford them. So a massage can be done by my therapist, who are professional Balinese trained therapists, or they can be done by you or I. It's just a level of what you get that makes the difference. So you can still get a good 90-minute massage, by a locally trained masseuse or anybody who can, who understands, you can tell where the pointer and all these things. You can get a nice scrub by mixing sugar and honey and exfoliating with some turmeric, so again, if you wanted me to do it, then you have to pay for it. You know what I mean?
Okay, let me ask you. Now, we're talking about massage particularly. Do you have instances where couple come in and a woman doesn't want a woman to touch a man?
I haven't really had that, because I think generally speaking, most people who come in know that it's usually a woman who would massage. I do know, I have friends and clients and customers who don't like to be touched, so they don't come in for massages. Some men, but I'll say 90% of people both male and female, are comfortable with women touching them. Now, the question is,
Okay.
do you have instances where people come as a couple, but the men, if it was a male masseuse, don't want a man to touch their wives? Now, here is a topic for another day.
Yeah, I have never allowed
Alright, so moving away from hospitality, let's concentrate now on tourism. From the foreign perspective of tourism, I think that you have a robust knowledge in the frequency at which foreigners patronize your hotel.
Yes.
That's a cool hotel. So what is the rate at which foreigners, still patronize your hotel with the level of violence and insecurity happening in our country today?
The answer is pretty simple. The airports have been were shut for a while. Most embassies that I know in the country are sending, security alerts to their citizens to say these countries are red zone, there's high alert and security in these countries, and people know what's going on. So yeah, so we have been badly hit because predominantly most of our clientele, we're a business hotel, even though we have the facility to take care and cater to tourism. Most of our existence, we have, predominantly house business people, because I think a lot of people see Africa as a nesting ground, and a viable one at that, and Nigeria particularly, so we've had a lot of, we have enjoyed a lot of expat, patronage, and it has reduced. It has, and it has reduced for obvious reasons. I don't think it's just about the security as well. I think there's a global problem as well, that even if we were, if we didn't have as much insecurity, there would still be COVID, and that's another reason to look at how that has affected the business or not. But yes, it has affected our business, and it's okay. I mean, for me, I always just try to see what's the light at the end of any tunnel, really. Eco Hotel has moved away from basking in the misery of COVID and all the insecurities. If you sit down and, ponder and get sad and miserable about everything that's happening around you, you would not move forward. So we've taken a business decision to just throw light at the end of the tunnel and shed joy and happiness in everything. And we're still going ahead and doing things, creating entertainment for families, and trying to now harness local tourism to say people can't travel anymore, so come to the hotel and spend the weekend with your family and get what you will get if you traveled for much less and less risk.
All right. Don't you just love her?
I kept looking at the gap.
All right, on that note, we'll go on a quick break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Glad to know you're still with us. In case you just joined the show, today's conversation is on hospitality and wellness sector. Our guest has been giving us real talk on the current Nigerian economy and security crisis that has affected both the service providers and the service users. Don't forget that you can be part of this conversation by calling our studio line 080-988-77400. It's showing on your screen right now, and also make comments on all our social media platforms. And remember, we're live on our Facebook page and of course on our YouTube page, streaming live, and of course you can catch us on Silverbird YouTube as well. Again, many thanks for all your submission thus far. So my question to you now, in Lagos, we are still gradually getting used to having parks and recreational centers, just like advanced countries or developed countries, to be precise, for those who love to recreate and relax for the wellness sectors. How will I put it now? Yeah. So now, what do you think about the mentality of people in our country towards spas and wellness and recreational centers?
I find a lot of people travel for these things, so they want it. There's a market for it. Most people are, exposed, and even if they haven't tried it, they have seen it, they have watched it somewhere, they've heard about it. So people are inquisitive human beings, so a lot of people want to try it out. I found in the last 3-4 years, using Eco Hotel again as a case study, you would think that most people would travel, most people can afford to travel on holidays and give their families that well-deserved rest and enjoyment that, you know, families require every now and then in the course of a year. But, you know, we started out this thing where we were just creating a haven for families to come and experience all of those things that they pay, you know, top dollar for. And we tried it out the first year. It was amazing, and we've done it consistently every year since then. December is usually a busy period for us, and we have a lot of families coming from all parts of Nigeria, you know, coming to do a 5-day package or a 3-day package, and we pack it full of exciting stuff for them, and, you know, they always come out happy for it.
You know, I was going to ask, like, okay, looking at Dubai, if you have like the liberty to do stuff for tourism in Nigeria, do you think that we can actually, you know, make our tourism sector to have the amount of life that Dubai tourism has? Do you think we have enough resources to use here? Do you think we have enough places to see here? Or what do you think we can do to get to that point?
Well, you know the Yoruba parable that sort of means people who have heads don't have caps, and people who have caps don't have heads.
And so Loriko Nifila.
That precisely summarizes my response to that. And I'll tell you why. I think that in Dubai that you call, the fancy Dubai that you call today, the people who go there and make that economy boom in the tourism sector are Nigerians. So we own the people. So if we created a Dubai in Nigeria, why would there be any need for anybody to go to Dubai? Absolutely no need. Now, what do I mean by people who have heads? The people who have money, you know, the rich politicians who have a lot of money and they're stacking it away in bank accounts all over the world, and people who have, you know, and companies who have investment here are not investing in the right things. Because there are many case studies of things, you know, hospitality and tourism, you know, opportunities that have been very successful here. You know, the jump place where the kids go to jump has been extremely successful.
Yeah.
You know, you Upbeat, Landmark, an amazing place, a success story. Eco Hotel has been a success story since it started. It still is over 30 years after. So, I mean, the answers are right there. I mean, there are problems. There's insecurity, there's political unrest, there's all of these things. But in the midst of all of that, you have a growing, you know, middle class. You have a well-educated populace, you know, most of whom seek the good life. So there is a market here.
So on that note, you know, just a follow-up question to what she just asked. So if you had a word or two for our government in terms of making the environment safe and more profitable for businesses like yours, what would that be?
It would be, I think you need to get your priorities right.
Okay.
We're not interested in all the things that you're interested in. Okay. We're interested in power. We're interested in infrastructure, good roads. And the only other thing that we need you to do is govern. Simple. Allow people like myself and yourselves who are running businesses to continue to survive. Create an enabling environment for them to thrive, because we're the ones employing labor. We're making life easy for you.
Ease of doing business.
Yeah, we're employing the labor. So make life easy for us so that you can have all the GDP that you require to govern properly.
My question was going to come before Kike pulled in. I've heard different notions from people who say that Nigeria seems to encourage foreigners in business, especially the hospitality business, aviation, wellness, and what you have. That Nigeria makes it quite difficult for Nigerians to thrive in business. Do you agree with that?
I think Nigeria makes it difficult for any human being to thrive in business, regardless of whether you are a foreigner or a Nigerian. If you were an ant and you did business in Nigeria, you would die before your time. Simple as that.
Wow.
You know, I'm not sure that it's a different script for a foreigner and a different script for a Nigerian. Like I said, just give us power, give us good roads, and leave us to thrive. That's all. Two things.
I'd like to buttress that.
Change.
I'd like to buttress that question, because if we take a hotel, for example, and some other hotels that are 5-star hotels in Lagos,
correct,
we can see that they are mostly run by foreigners. Is it because they have more business idea or they have more capital to bring in when the God is down here, they run there and bring in money and keep pushing, and an average Nigerian will look at it like, oh, I'm tired here, let me sell my shares, let me sell my capital and move. Because it's been the trend. Most hotel businesses that survive the time are from foreigners, are run by foreigners.
All right, before you respond to that, we have a caller from Abuja, God's Power. God's Power, many thanks for calling on the show today. What's your perspective of the topic at hand?
Yeah. I wanted to say that I would love to learn this part.
Spa.
Can you speak a little bit louder?
Yeah, I wanted to say that I would love to learn how to massage from Mrs. Iya. I have passion for massaging, like, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, God's Power, I don't know how to massage. I would learn, and I'm sure that when I learn, I'm happy to teach you.
Train you.
But seeing as you mentioned that, you know, we are going to start a training school because we believe because we believe in local capacity.
See your first customer.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my God. We are going to start a training school, and once we start that, we're more than happy for you to come and learn.
All right.
That's great.
That's
great.
very
So
much.
to my question, most of these foreigners do fantastically better than Nigerians.
I'm a little more detailed about my thought process with questions like this, because unless you want to give me specific examples of companies,
I don't want to mention hotel names that I know that we go to, that we patronize, that are owned by Nigerians.
It's forbidden to mention any other hotel
that's
because
it,
the
because
hotel is part of our
It's the
culture.
only hotel, actually. But forget I said
So
that.
it's a hotel and others.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay,
exactly.
so I give that to you. So
Yes.
most of these hotels are sometimes owned by Nigerians but run administratively by foreigners.
Well, I would respond to this from an Eco Hotel point of view, because that's the fact that I know.
Okay.
So Eco Hotel is run by a larger number of Nigerians than it is run by foreigners.
Okay.
Now, we in Eco Hotel, we nest international standards with African hospitality. So there's absolutely no way you can nest international standards without bringing an international flair and flavor to it.
Okay.
I'll give you an instance. We have maybe 9, 10 different restaurants in the hotel. Each of the restaurants represent a specific, you know, cuisine, from Asian to Mexican to Thai to Italian to, you know, so we get a blend of different kinds of cuisines. But each of these restaurants is headed by somebody who is local to that country that we serve. So our Chinese restaurant has a Chinese head chef. And all of this is just to make sure that we deliver on the kind of service that we promise to deliver on. A lot of, if you're talking more general in terms of management, because I would say that the people who head the different types of smaller units are the heads of the people who are running the show. But if you're talking more management, I'll say we also have a good blend of both local and international people. You know, for instance, I've been in this role, you know, for the last 10 years, and you don't usually, I agree with you that you don't usually find Nigerians sitting in the position of director of sales and marketing for a hotel of that magnitude. But we do have the capacity. I don't think that there's any foreigner that's more educated than me to sit on that job or to sit on that role.
All right. All right. So, you know, on a lighter note, because of time, all right, we have another caller from Lagos. Amanda, many thanks for calling. What's your contribution on the topic at hand, please? Amanda.
Amanda, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, please
go
speak
ahead.
up.
Go ahead.
All right, apologies, I might have to let that go. You know, just on a lighter note, you know, we've been talking about business, we've been talking about how beautiful, how articulate you are, you know, but I must put this on a how will I put this now? So I realized that I couldn't find her on social media, and I'm curious. What's your view about social media? You know, especially with what is happening presently with the federal government trying to put a ban on it. Is it a deliberate thing? I keep telling people that there are different types of apps. if I could find you on LinkedIn, why can't you be on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and every other? Do you have any personal story that you'd like to share with our audience today?
I always feel like this is a setup when people ask me about my opinion about social media. I've had too many forums where I've had to talk about this, and I'm always on the opposing team for some odd reason.
All right.
Okay, and Kike, I will respond to you very honestly and very truthfully. I do not speak for anybody but myself.
Okay.
I personally am not on any social media apart from LinkedIn because I do not find that I need to be there. And I find that...
You don't think it can be of added value to your business or to what you're doing?
So my business can be there.
But
That's good on my business. But my business is not me.
Is it about you personally?
It's an extension
like
of
you're
you.
just someone that likes to be in your own cocoon. You don't like people in your business.
I think that too many... okay. There's a phrase that says a tiger doesn't need to profess its tigritude.
Yes.
Oh.
That's Wale showing cards.
It's Wale Soyinka's line. And I absolutely love the man because he's a man with a lot of wisdom. And, you know, you have to live by some of these things, you know, that have a proven track record.
Apologies, I might have to interrupt that thought. We
Yes,
have
ma'am.
Amanda again on our phone
Hi,
line.
Amanda.
Amanda, many thanks for calling back. What's your contribution at time? Please, in 1 minute. Amanda,
Yes, sir.
can you make your question very fast, please?
She's not getting
I doubt if she can hear us. We cannot hear you.
Hello, can
All
you
right,
hear me?
so
All right,
Okay.
make your point quickly.
Okay, I just want to let Iyadunni know how much I love her. And I see her as a role model.
Oh.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Wow.
We've never received such call on any of our guests.
So you're touching live somehow.
Thank you very
don't
much,
know.
Amanda.
To
Whoever
lift
you are,
his
thank you.
souls.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right, so in
humbled.
30
Thank
seconds,
you.
can you put a wrap to that?
Yes, okay. Amanda has destabilized me a bit because that's a bit shocking, but thank you, Amanda. Yes, so we were talking about
Social
my
media.
opinion about social media and why I'm not there. Yeah, so we were talking about Wale Soyinka's line about the tiger not professing its tigritude. I don't know, there's too many people looking for cheap attention. Too many people think that they need to be seen to be heard. I wasn't brought up that way. I think that people who really do the work are at the back end, and you know, they let other people shine, and this is my model. I also don't have the patience or the time. My head is constantly thinking of new ways to better my life and to better my business, that I just don't have the energy to sit down and look at
All
what
right, on that note, I must add that I used to think like her before until I joined social media a year and I think 7 or 8 months
Well,
ago.
we're really counting this your social media. We're going to have anniversaries.
Party!
So on that note, I said thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
on the show. It's so edifying to have your personality on the show today. And of course, I'm happy that a lot of our listeners were so...
Taken by her.
All right.
Thank you very much.
But
Thank you for
before we
having
let you go, there's a segment that we call
Trending topic.
trending
topics,
stories,
the trending stories.
and that affects every one of us, and that's a story that affects us all. One of the trending stories that caught our attention was that of the federal government that asked reps to enact law to regulate social media.
Yes.
I know that we just finished talking about social media with your submission. Lolo, let me start with you. What's your submission on the federal government?
I'm just wondering, for me, that what do we actually think? What's on the table that is most important at this time? I think that's what we should focus basically on. The troubles that, you know, that beleague us in this country is so much that I don't think social media is at the fore of some of these things that they need to put attention on. The only thing causing all this ruckus is the fact that Twitter removed something that the president said because he violated some of their laws and they banned it. And now every other attention has shifted from things like insecurity, banditry, kidnapping, gross insecurity in the country, lack of infrastructure, and all other things that plague us, and we're not putting our attention. I don't understand why they will sit down and the deliberation at this time will be on regulation of social media. It just destabilizes me as a person, and I'm wondering what our perspectives are really, especially our leaders. What are we really focusing on? You rather your people are dying, and now is this social media thing is like the government is pitting itself against the youth. And I think that's really dangerous because the young people of this today, I doubt if you can shut them up. They'll keep looking
All right,
for
many
ways to
thanks for
open their
that
mouth.
submission. Damilola, what's your take on it?
I would want to drive in the line of Lolo, saying that we leave the things that are very paramount and we attend to the trivial issues, the most trivial issues. Social media as a tool. I agree that, yes, some people use it badly, some people use it negatively, but also think about the people that genuinely make a means of income, make a livelihood from social media. I mean, the advent of having to sit in your corner and bite, I get nauseated when I go to the market. So I just want to see a dress and, oh, I like it, I buy it, and I've empowered somebody. So think of those people. The government is not even putting any structure on ground for us to thrive. Then we're doing it by ourselves, and it feels like you still want to lock us up. It's not fair. It's really not fair.
All right, many thanks for that submission. I think for me, Nigerians are smart and are not dumb people as they think we are. I saw this coming after the Twitter ban. The handwriting was so clear on the wall. They are gradually snatching our freedom of expression from we Nigerians. They are stylishly engaging the dictatorship rule on Nigerians. They don't want to be accountable for anything. They don't want to be questioned. They don't want to apply democracy on fundamental human rights. They don't want to be responsible or reasonable, if that's the word to use, when it comes to the citizens. And it's so unfortunate that when this government were coming to power, they were willing to, you know, interact with us. They were willing to come to the same
social
table.
media.
And today, they are the ones saying that we should keep short. And it's so unfortunate that when they are campaigning for power to get to a place of power, you see them ready to dine with us. But when they get there, they tend to want to put a division between them and the citizens. So I think that's the end of my submission. So another second trending story that caught our attention is that of the Uday who pays tributes to NSAS during the beauty competition. I'm very sure you saw it. I know you're not on social media. So on that note, I might not be able to direct some of the questions to you. What's your take, Lolo?
The lady at the beauty pageant talking about that carried the bloodied flag. You know, there's everybody has a voice, and I'm beginning to be so proud of Nigerians that everybody can stand as an individual and be able to say, this is what I believe, this is what I stand for. She's on the podium, international. I think she was in Russia.
Yes, correct.
And she carried a bloodied flag because, yes, you can see it on your screen. That's her own tribute. That's what she's using her voice to speak against something she feels is like the ills of our country. And she's drawing the international, you know, community to look at it from her own perspective. I think it's laudable. It's a bit dramatic though, but I would have done it, you know, with more.
Iyadunni, what's your take on it?
I just heard about it, yes, and I'm quite backward in regards to things like this, but I can't believe it. So who has a problem with that? This is her state of mind, and she's entitled to her own state of mind. And she won't be carrying a bloodied flag if there was not blood on the flag. Simple as that. Why is the problem that she's carrying a bloody flag and not how to clean the stain of the blood off the flag? Misplaced priorities. Simple.
Absolutely. I think I would also drive with you on this point because now it happened on October 20th. We saw what happened in June 12 again, and nobody's willing to address these things. Now they see us as a threat. We are a great threat to them. We outnumber them. No matter their numbers, we are greater than them. It's just that the Nigerian youth needs to know how to tailor themselves right so that we don't get infiltrated by thugs or by other people that do not understand our focus. Remember that we will outlive these people. Most of them will die before us. So, I mean, let's just get it going.
So for me, this is a very profound statement by the beauty queen. In Nigeria, we have a culture of covering crimes with time, since we know Nigerians have many issues to deal with. You know, but Uday made a statement which means that justice hasn't been served to the lives lost at the toll gate protest. My take now is that the military are yet to be brought to books on that atrocity against humanity. It means that impunity still exists, and it is not the way forward for us to progress in our country, regardless of all the challenges that we are going through, and yet they are still asking us to still keep short. They are still asking us not to air our opinion when it comes to fundamental human rights, and this is where we have challenges where you see international bodies willing to jump to assist us, and yet they will say that they are the one funding NSAS. So it's unfortunate that we have a government that has failed the citizen. I think we have a few minutes before we wrap up. I think the third story is about the NURTW
story that happened in
Ibadan yesterday versus the smartphone sellers. I know, Damilola, you have a lot to say today. What's your take on it?
It's very disappointing that the government of the day has relished a lot of power on the thugs. I will call them thugs, because if you claim that you are a body of the National Transport Workers Union of Nigeria, the NURTW, or what it stands to I mean, you are just for the road. You are just for transport.
National Union of Road
Transport Workers. Yes, absolutely. You are just on the road. You are just for the road. Why would you go about killing people? The other day, I was somewhere in Oshodi, and I will say that MC Oluomo, because he came to that party, he blocked the road, and I could not even pass. And I'm like, why? On a road that belongs to all of us. So if there was an emergency, what would have happened? Whatever happened in Ibadan yesterday was totally avoidable, because a Micra cab parked in front of the complex, and the complex owner simply said, our customers go in and out, and we know how edgy and how stubborn Ibadan people can be. Yes, I say it. I'm not sorry to say this. Ibadan people have. I schooled in Ibadan for 6 years, so I have in-depth facts about.
You have to tailor it to Ibadan people.
You understand? I have in-depth facts about how they reason sometimes. Leave the road. Then how did it become you went to regroup thugs and they killed an innocent boy who happens to be, we actually went to the same secondary school. That guy has twin children that he's never seen in his life, that he was supposed to travel to the US to see them for the first time in 4 years. How do you do that? And people have been lamenting that the Seyi Makinde-led administration has put deaf ears. And I saw people even giving accolades to the past governor, Governor Ajumobi, that in his lifetime it wouldn't have happened. Then there was a mammoth crowd, and the presence of soldiers were there. We had Amotekun there on that spot. And even the commentary I heard was that the soldiers were running away. But when it comes to terrorizing ordinary civilians, they cannot do their job. But now you just come to the forefront and make it seem like, oh, it's okay for these boys to. I know that they are political thugs. Yes, after now you still use them in 2023. So you can let some things slide. But the blood of Nigerians will surely ask for justice.
Yeah. All right, Lolo, quickly.
There's nothing we can say. We've said it many, many times. Accountability is what we're only asking for. So these happen now. You're not going to hear anything about it. Nobody is going to be brought to book from this major happening. Nobody is going to go to court or be sanctioned in any way. So I don't see where is the light at the end of the tunnel.
All right. All right. With that, we've come to the end of another edition of Real Talk with Kike, and I'm sure you guys have had an awesome time with our guest today, and it was wonderful having Iyadunni Gbadebo on the show.
Thank you.
Many thanks again for honoring my invite to be here today.
Having me. Thank you.
I must infuse this. Can you see how glowing she is?
We'll change Kike's name to Gloria. Gloria.
Round up the show.
All right, my name
I can hear her thoughts. We're coming.
No, we are coming.
On that note, my name remains Kike Lomaton. The one you are.
Damilola Banire.